One of the big questions is,
what is money?
Practical purposes, it exists in a series of heterogeneous databases, very different databases.
do you believe in crypto?
Digital currency may be an answer, but it is the highly speculative asset.
I do own Bitcoin.
There is no second best.
Welcome to the Crypto Curious podcast, your weekly crypto crash course. Every Wednesday, join us in the dynamic world of cryptocurrencies. We cover everything from major news stories to short, sharp news bites. If you're new to crypto, we recommend starting with our early episodes where we break down the basics and give you a solid foundation to understand the crypto world. Tune in, laugh and learn. It's crypto made easy. This week on the show, Doge is on the move with a 25% surge fueled by none other than Elon Musk. Is the dog headed to the moon again? Memecoins still going strong, but why? We explore what keeps this craze alive and whether it's more of a lottery than an investment. Also, eyeball scanning Worldcoin Rebrands. The controversial iris scanning project has relaunched with a new name, but still has all the old criticism. There's these stories plus many more this week. My name's Tracy, and as always, I'm joined by my mates Blake and Craig to bring you what's been a massive week of crypto news. Honestly, there were so many stories this week. October is all a buzz, boys. Welcome to the show. How you feeling?
Pretty bullish, mate. It's all going on out there. Everyone's super excited about what's going to happen in 2025.
How are you feeling?
Yeah, feeling optimistic. The group chats are firing up. Tracy's back in there messaging about shit coins. So we're back. And yeah, it's exciting times, isn't it?
I know it is. Like, there's news all year round, but there just feels like there's been a lot on the go this week. So let's crack in. And our first story, we are talking about a familiar face in the crypto world. Yes, we're talking about Elon Musk's old friend Dogecoin, the OG in meme coins. Doge has had a cracking week. It surged nearly 25% to hit a 4-month high of 0.15 cents. And there's no surprises here that Musk is at the centre of all of this. Could you tell us what has happened here? We've got Musk tweeting again, Craig.
Yeah, so Musk is in his meme. The memes are in overdrive right now. So he's tweeting about becoming the head of the Department of Government Efficiency, which is Doge. This is a cheeky idea floated by Elon, and Trump apparently backs it. And this just seems to be Elon just poking some fun. Everyone knows that Doge is his favorite. You can buy Tesla merch with Doge. And it's the old saying that Doge pumping is the start of an alt season, essentially. It's happened every cycle. So what do you think, Blake? I know it's one of your favorite shit coins.
This is obviously just something that Elon's having a bit of fun with. I'm surprised that he's still poking fun at this one. I'm sure he has bigger and better things to think about and to put his time to, but here we are.
He actually tweeted, Doge will fix it. So what was he actually saying? What does it mean?
Well, he's talking about his government efficiency idea where essentially Trump wants to get rid of many of the federal employees and he wants Elon to head it up. Like, we are in the weirdest timeline right now. All this is happening while Trump's working McDonald's. Like, it's just the craziest news cycle ever this week.
Okay. Well, look, let's roll into then perhaps our second story this week, boys, because while we're on the subject, we wanted to talk about memes because this is a pretty amazing world at the moment. From Dogecoin to Pepe to Shiba Inu, these coins are like crypto's version of the lottery. But here's the twist. Your odds of hitting it big with meme coins are a lot better than winning the Powerball. Craig, what do you think meme coins, or why do you think meme coins have stuck around and have kept attracting a lot of investors, despite the fact that you can get rugged, or people do get rugged every day, and there's so many risks associated with these meme coins?
Yeah, so we've spoken about meme coins in the past, and they're always part of the crypto market. And I think the resurgence lately is from this talk that a lot of crypto people listen to at Token 2049 from Murad. And we'll link the show notes below if you want to watch it. But he essentially talks about Meme coins are the only way to drive retail interest into crypto, because you've all heard the story. Someone who put $100 into SHIB made $1 million. Someone who did the same with Doge, with Pepe. These stories spread in the news, and then eventually every man and their dog starts buying these coins. Now, Murad's talk is all about, well, if legitimate crypto projects have coins, but the coins don't have any uses, they're just fancy meme coins. And he says that meme coins are actually the fairest way to trade, because there's no VC funding dumping on retail. There's no huge inflated, fully diluted market caps. It's fair. It's player versus player. And we've seen this now with how easy it is to create a coin. There's things like Pump Fun, where you can create a coin in literally 4 clicks, whereas before in previous cycles, you had to have some level of development experience to launch one of these. Now, I would say to be very careful with these, as Tracy mentioned, because you can get rugged so easily. But you're in crypto, you're a bit of a gambler, and I know it can be really hard to not scratch that itch. Blake, what's your thoughts on the meme coin frenzy?
Yeah, they definitely tap into something very interesting. People are betting on these cultural memes. I think that they encapsulate a lot of the culture of crypto, which may be a good thing or maybe a bad thing. And I think this cycle we may see $100 billion digital asset, a $100 billion meme coin, which is incredible. It just really goes to show, I think, about how it really demonstrates how markets work. Really, things are only worth as much as people are willing to pay for it, and people are willing to speculate on new and interesting ideas. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting phenomenon.
I think I just want to go back and challenge what you're saying there, Craig, about memes coming back into flavour since the Murad talk, which was only a month ago. I don't think that they were out. I think it was pumping well before that. I think what it's done, though, has brought a different set of eyes onto it, because what he was talking about is not so much the pump and dump memes that are around from Pump Fun. He's talking about the stable memes, maybe the top meme coins that are in the top 50 at the moment that other people are looking at again now that are kind of coming back.
Yeah, I agree. And I think one of the important things of his talk, and I really recommend that you guys listen to it, he talks about cults in crypto. And I can actually resonate with this. Like me and you, Trace, we're probably in the Ethereum cult. We always talk positive about Ethereum. There's others that are Solana, in the Solana cult, or they talk about the Solana. And I think this comes down to these meme coins. And there was one that Murad is especially pushing called SPX, which is like 100x in 3 weeks or something ridiculous. And the whole premise of the meme coin is that it's going to flip the S&P 500. That's what they're saying. They're saying there is no chart, we're going to the moon, and it's just memes after memes in this cult following.
Yeah, I think you've touched on something there, because it's more than making money. It's being a part of something. It's being part of a community. You've got your Discord, you've got your Telegram group. You're sort of just jumping up and looking at a chart. You're jumping up, you're being involved, you're seeing those same names, you're talking with people, you're feeling part of something. That's your church, that's your community.
Yeah, but it's the same thing we've seen in every cycle, and it comes up in different ways. 2017, it was ICOs. You'd get into an ICO, you'd share with your friends, you'd say, look, this is going to launch in this time, let's get in. You post it, it becomes your personality until the ICOs sold out. Second cycle was NFTs. I was buying pudgies with, this one has a bandana, and my one's in the top 3% of rare, and you're in Discord groups trying to get whitelisted. It's the same thing. It's showing up in a different way. And this cycle, it's meme coins, and it engages the casual punter. Like, there's investors out there that I have friends that do this. They don't have Bitcoin. They don't have ETH. They literally only want to punt. They see crypto as 100x or bust. They might use the money they'll put into a sports bet multi, and they're going to use it in this ecosystem. But regardless, it's a bit of fun. I'd say be careful and just enjoy it. Enjoy the ride.
Yeah, absolutely. That's it. To finish it out, like we've said, these meme coins are very entertaining, but it is taking a shot. Treat it like it is the crypto lottery, like we said earlier. It's fun, it's risky, and maybe, just maybe, it's life-changing money for you.
No, Pepe to the moon.
If you've got any funny one, jump in the Facebook page and share those as well for a good laugh.
And just on meme coins, guys, the latest craze taking over the meme coin scene is AI traders. So what's happening is these really smart developers are training AI to trade and rotate meme coins. There's one called Terminal of Fun, which I'll put in the show notes below. It's an AI that is sharing all of his trades. He's talking about what he's buying, what he's selling. He's looking for the next play. Sold that boy for 18 Sol. And he's just giving everyone his thoughts on what's happening in the market. And what's happening is people are reading these and they're buying what he's buying. And when he sells something, everyone is selling it. So it's just a game of rotation. It's insane. But safe to say that I won't be going down this rabbit hole, but just something to note what's happening right now in the market.
Okay, well, look, let's leave that there. And like we said, meme coins are very entertaining, but again, you're just taking a shot here. You got to treat it, like we said earlier, as the crypto lottery. Bit of fun, very risky, and maybe, just maybe, some life-changing money for you there. But let's move on now to our third story, which we mentioned in our Facebook group and got some comments. This is Worldcoin, the controversial iris scanning project co-founded by Sam Altman, has just been rebranded as World and launched some major update, including their own Ethereum Layer 2 network called Worldchain. They've also rolled out a new orb device. This is the device that scans your eyes, and they claim it performs AI operations 5 times faster. We've talked about this on the podcast plenty of times in the last year. And let's be honest, we've been pretty skeptical. And this rebrand probably just raises some more questions. Blake, what are your thoughts on this shift to World as a rebrand? Do you think that the new name and this new network will change public perception? Or is this just the same project with a new coat of paint, really?
Yeah, I reckon the branding's obviously a step in the right direction, dropping coin element to it and broadening the scope and the feel. It feels a little bit cleaner. There's been a lot of people, respected investors like GM Wu from Kinetic Capital, and I think it was Pantera as well, that are endorsing this project and talking about how important it is moving forward. And from our perspective, it just seems a little bit icky. I don't think Sam Altman can be trusted. We've all seen what's happened with OpenAI moving from a non-for-profit to a for-profit. I think that we'd probably need a deep dive on this. Lots of people, I could imagine, would give up their biometric data for a few tokens. Is it worth it? I'm not really sure.
That brings me to your thoughts, Craig, because they really glossed over a lot of the original concerns that people had, which was their goal is to onboard real humans into the blockchain and reduce the presence of bots, which is understandable. But do you think this focus on proof of personhood, which they keep saying, can attract users, or are they just kind of walking a fine line between innovation and surveillance, which we said, because this is very invasive?
Yeah, well, I think they've always said it's designed to be decentralized. So I think their argument is by providing your eyeball, we know that you're human, but you can also bet that we aren't a centralized organization. Of course, they're centralized right now, but I think the intention is to eventually become decentralized. And whether they use ZK proof or whatever to identify people's eyeballs, it remains to be seen. But regardless, the adoption is serious. They have 7 million people, and the whole purpose of the app is these 7 million people are legit. They're on the blockchain, and now they can interact with each other with purchasing and using that as a decentralized passport. I think it's the optics around scanning of the eyeball. It just feels very sci-fi. Like if it was a fingerprint on the blockchain or whatever it was, maybe people would feel more comfortable, but there's just something weird and wrong about scanning an eyeball.
Having your own biometrics, but then maybe if they were going to say they were using it and then automatically getting rid of it straight away. But there's also, like this time last year, they were under investigation via France and Germany, and that's still open a year later, which is also quite problematic.
So, well, here's a question for you guys. If it was a fingerprint, would this be something you could see getting traction?
I personally still wouldn't do it. Not for some tokens. But then again, it depends what country I'm in, what kind of problems that my family and I were facing. It all comes down to.
I think as well, like the whole premise of crypto and Satoshi's vision was for the people, libertarian, and then we've come to a point where a crypto project is scanning an eyeball for verification. So it's very off the crypto ideology.
Yeah, look, there's a lot of conversation around this one. I don't think it's going to stop because this rebrand definitely seems like their attempt to get a fresh start, but the same challenges remain. Privacy concerns aren't going to go away, and it's hard to see how they'll convince users to embrace this technology.
Well, again, it's another app that's launching their own layer 2. Like we touched on that before. Unichain was last week. We'll cover Ape Chain later on. This is becoming very popular.
All right, well, let's keep an eye on it, as Blake put that hilarious dad joke in the Facebook group earlier this week. And we'll come back with any more info on that one. Look, we were going to go to a break, but one last quick story before we go for a break. We'll squeeze this one in now. It's a continuation of a topic that we've been following over the last few weeks, and that's HBO's documentary, Money Electric, the Bitcoin Mystery, diving into the questions about who is Satoshi Nakamoto. Well, the boys and I finally did watch it over the weekend, and we've kind of backflipped. We've got some thoughts. Who wants to go first?
Well, it's really interesting watching these early pioneers in the blockchain and crypto space talk about Satoshi and the time around the inception of Bitcoin. It became really clear that those early participants in those Bitcoin forums and that helped establish the Bitcoin network know far more than what they're letting on. Some of these guys are still working in crypto. They have businesses, prominent businesses that support the ecosystem. And yeah, I think that we all came to the conclusion that most of these early guys did have a clue who Satoshi was, or they all were Satoshi and they were building this together.
Well, just for the listener, it's on Binge. You can get a free account, so I recommend watching it. I agree with Blake. I think there's definitely some level of knowledge that these guys have. I read the commentary, and it being Peter Todd, I wasn't sure. Then I watched the doco, and it definitely started to paint a picture of how they got to that conclusion. And to be honest, I was a little bit bummed that it was him. Like, I wanted a bit more of a mythical situation. And I think the evidence that he put forward is very good. Like, it's the best that he's got, really. But the one thing that I got nervous about was that the Satoshi coins are still there in the wallet. They haven't been burnt. They haven't been disposed of. Like, they're there. You can see them on Blockworks and on Blockchain Explorers.
Let's just clarify what that is, Craig. For the listeners, if you don't want the tokens, you can actually send them to an address where it burns them and just deletes them permanently. Otherwise, they sit in a wallet dormant, which makes all Bitcoin investors a little bit nervous. And now they could have potentially lost.
Well, yeah, for context, he has 1 million Bitcoin. So I don't know what that is in his Satoshi wallet. And the filmmaker poses the question at the end, Bitcoin been adopted by countries, ETFs, it's $1 trillion asset. What would happen if there was even a 0.1 Bitcoin being removed from that wallet? I think it would cause a cascading effect to the likes of which we'd never seen. It would be an insane dump if that were to happen.
Go and watch it, folks. One thing I will just say really quickly is I'd like to retract my comments about HBO last week where I said that I expected better from them, which is without actually watching it, because they did a really great job. Even this is great for people that are new to the crypto world, who are crypto curious, who don't know anything about Bitcoin. This is just a great doco. It doesn't just look at who Satoshi it is. It gives you a really well-rounded look at the crypto market, Bitcoin, the blockchain. So it's well worth taking a look at. So let's leave that one there now, guys, and go for a break. And when we come back, our short, sharp news bites. Welcome back. You're listening to the Crypto Curious podcast. And time now for our short, sharp news bites brought to you by the Bamboo app. Ladies first this week, I'll jump in. And Trump's World Liberty Financial website crashed during the token sale. So World Liberty Financial, the Trump-backed DeFi project, launched its token sale on Tuesday, but the overwhelming traffic caused the site to crash, leaving frustrated investors in limbo. Despite the hiccup, the project's wallet had already sold over $5 million in assets. However, that was not as much as they were hoping, and in the end, it was a little bit of a flop. While there was over 100,000 people who were allowed to waitlist, it only showed 3,500 holders so far. The Trump family had yet to comment on either the outage or the amount of money that were raised. But again, it wasn't as successful as they had hoped.
The ETH iOS. This is the first phone model called the DGen 1 to be built on Ethereum. Now, Solana, as we know, they've built the phone. It's an Android phone. But this Ethereum phone is way better. No, just joking. It looks a lot cooler. It looks more vintage. It's half the size of your typical iPhone. It's got a touch screen. It's got this weird like LED grid that you can like sort of use to skip through notifications, and an on-chain native browser. So it looks quite cool.
Does it have airdrops?
Well, we need airdrops.
We've got to have the airdrops.
If there's no airdrop, I'm not getting it. But regardless, it has a laser.
Whoa, lasers.
Watch out.
So it looks really interesting. We'll actually put a link in the show notes. We've got a couple of show note links for you guys today. Check it out. Who's going to be buying one?
You get one.
I'd get the Solana one, and I could never get my hands on it.
Okay. We'll get Blake to get one.
All right, next up, let's talk about Polymarket. So Polymarket is a prediction market or a betting market where you can bet on things like the weather, sports, or even political results. And Polymarket is now the #1 magazine and newspaper app in the United States. This is huge. So what we've seen over the last, I would say, couple weeks is that the betting markets are skewed heavily towards Trump. And there's been a lot of talk about manipulation of these markets, whether or not why this is the case when the polls are a lot closer, and people are speculating on the reason for that. And I think there's an important distinction to make between betting markets and, what we expect to happen in the polls. So by that, we mean that even if Trump is winning by 0.5%, we should then expect an outweighted variance in the betting markets to betting on that higher odds that Trump has of winning. And then there's also been some whales that have come in to potentially further accentuate the spread between Kamala and Trump on the betting market.
But you know what? The craziest thing about this app is that it's not actually the gambling app. It's not the app where you can actually go in and make a bet. It's an app just showing live forecasting, breaking news to do with the election, how things are moving in real time, which is an awesome acquisition strategy for them because I don't think they can actually have an app on the App Store doing what they're doing. So they've built this app that's just giving people information, and then you have to go on the Polymarket interwebs to actually make a trade.
Mate, if people were betting on the weather here, I would definitely be downloading that app and watching those things.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is an insight into Blake's real personality. Next up, we've got a Bitcoin whale holding a Satoshi-era stash from way back, moves some coins to Kraken. A total of 5.47 million coins has moved over to Kraken in the past 2 months. So wonder what this person is doing with those coins, but that's a lot to be moving. I think that they might be moving those Bitcoins to buy some Ethereum, Craig.
And just for context, when we say Satoshi era, that is coins that are mined around Bitcoin's first block. So these ones were mined in 2009, been sitting there dormant, but I think he has around 75 million in that wallet. So let's hope he's finished with that. Alrighty then. Okay, I'll finish things off, guys. The bull market is back. ApeCoin, the Bored Apes, remember those? They surged 100%. As Yuga Labs, again, launched a layer 2 called Ape Chain. So as we know, actually it's a layer 3, guys. It's a layer 3 built on top of Arbitrum. We discussed this months ago, how Yuga were planning to release a game around their Bored Apes. They've chosen Arbitrum and they've chosen their own layer 3 network called Ape Chain. So this new blockchain will support all the NFT apps that they're planning on building. And the market liked it and it doubled in a day or two, and it's hit $1.50 for the first time since April. So yeah, some big moves there.
Okay, that is it, folks, for this week. Like I said, lots of news and no doubt lots of news next week as we turn the corner for our last week in October, which has been Uptober. It has been a nice green month so far, but I won't want to put the moxie on it. Thanks for joining us this week, folks. Again, we'll be back next week. Until then, stay curious, stay connected. You can do this by joining the Crypto Curious Facebook group or check out our Instagram page. Be sure to hit the subscribe button where you're listening to the podcast right now. If you're looking to DCA into the crypto market, then have a look at the Bamboo app. We give you a code CURIOUS, which will give you $10 of free Bitcoin to get you started. There's a link in the show notes below, along with all the other links from the show today, and we'll see you again next week. Bye for now.
Bye, guys.
See you guys.